Good evening, everybody. Welcome to day 2, I believe, of our playoff coverage. It might even be day 3. I'm not too sure. It's my second day. That's what's more important. And this time, I've brought along a friend, JrTins. We haven't been together since, I don't know, that little event that you may or may not have heard of. Kind of was a major tournament. You feel that? Can you help refresh my memory there?
I remember doing something. I just don't remember exactly what it was. But, you know, I always have a pleasure. It might have been something to do with RLS.
Rokt, I think it's pronounced. The proper pronunciation.
Yeah, something like that.
But yeah, now we're here to do some AEL. It is InterVarsity Day, UTS Esports versus the UQU Freestylers. Now, this game has already been played. They are doing another sort of replay stream, just like we did previously. We're going to be doing our 2 lower bracket matches, starting, of course, with this one, and then following this fun match, I believe we've got a second between none other than Rokt Lorg and UOW Esports Red. These are going to be 2 games. They were played previously. We've got the replays. We're kind of going to go through them, say what we think, analyze, cast it a bit. I don't know. I'm just hoping that these games are a little bit closer, similar to what we saw from that winner's semifinal last night.
Yeah, there have been some really close games. Obviously, we are getting into the final teams that are still left in the tournament. Going from about 37 teams down to 8 is a big cut, and the teams that have made it, we're starting to see a bit better gameplay, a bit closer matches. So it is good when we get into the playoff run.
Absolutely, and I mean, at the end of the day, we're cutting that 8 down to 6. Both of these matches are elimination matches, so we are picking out the best of the best, and I think we'll be able to talk more about sort of these players in just a few moments. But first, have some special sponsors we need to thank, and it's really kind of cool here at AEL how all the sponsors do come together to give you a meal and a show. So I say meal, well, that's because you should be, and you really should be out there, you know, getting yourself that nice warm bowl of McGoring from Indomie. Indomie. I always pronounce it wrong. It is Indomie. Feed your game. Try out their flavors today. They are made up from carefully selected ingredients. There are up to 14 different products. They are all unique. They are all very, very great. And I always call it McGoring because, let's be honest, university students, that's where you're eating, especially with finals right around that corner. Time to jam in. We'll get that Indomie. Or for when you're watching, you know, some Rocket League tonight, and you got to eat that. Now, granted, there's a bit of salt used in there for that extra flavor, but it gets you parched, gets you thirsty. Get yourself some Chatime, some fresh iced tea, the iced tea sponsor of this event. 120 Chatime breweries throughout Australia with that commitment to flavor, ingredients, mix-ins, all of that. Mix and match, choose whatever you want to make. Go for it. I might be adventurous tomorrow because I'm going to be going into the town. You always pick up a Chatime. I might go away from my regular grapefruit. We'll see. I just really love the grapefruit. I can't help it, but that's your food. That's your drink. The next thing important is, you know, what you actually see, what monitor you're using, and for that, AOC can provide that best viewing experience. They are a global leader in monitor display technology, been around for more than 50 years. They have a wide selection of stylish monitors, you know, for home, for the office, for gaming, for the kitchen. Put it in the cupboard, open it up, get your Indomie out, watch some Rocket League. It makes sense to me. And then you need to be able to listen to it as well. RIG, they develop headsets delivering superior audio quality for competitive gamers and streamers at all levels. So even if you're just a beginner, you know what? Being able to hear those footsteps behind you, super important for games like Rainbow Six Siege, Valorant, Counter-Strike. It's good to have. So join that RIG team. Enhance your gaming experience. Big thank you one more time to all 4 of our sponsors, without which we could not hold events like this.
Yeah, it's always good, and helping build a community, helping have some great prize pools and great prizes on deck there for the players competing. And I think that's what we're ready to get down to, is now we're into the players, now we're into the teams that are going to be trying to make this push. And I reckon that we're going to see some close games. We're going to see some players that you might also know outside of the AEL League. So it is going to be very exciting.
Yeah, we're bringing up a couple right now. UTS, Flicky, Surexel, Knight. All 3 of these players who are typically on the team. Uncreative there as well as a sub, I would imagine. I mean, all 3 of these players are well known throughout that amateur scene. They will play in your 6-mans. They'll enter your ODLs, your draft leagues. Super competitive squad. A little bit surprising, actually, to see them down in this lower bracket elimination match. I would expect them to win, especially against UQU Freestyling. Granted, this team has played with Leduc in the past. back when Leduc was on the UQ team, and they had some runs, top 3 finishes, don't get me wrong. I do expect some of that play to carry over. However, you can't help but feel like UQ is going to be the underdog in this matchup.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I would agree with you there. I think Flicky, Cyrexel, and Knight should be able to take this one away. But they did have a really hard game. They had actually Twinburn Black in the upper bracket. So it's kind of unfortunate, I reckon, for that first round matchup to be against a team that I believe is one of the favorites to take the crown. So interesting to see them in the lower bracket part. That being said, this I haven't actually seen this UQU side play, so it is gonna be interesting for my first time watching them and just see how they can compete in this playoff.
Well, I think we're going to get a chance to watch them right now because I'm cutting to the pitch. I'm hitting that play button. We are underway. Again, that blue side, UTS. On the orange side, it is UQ. And, well, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised by the UQ lineup. This is a very strong team. They don't make a lot of mistakes typically. They have been playing quite far forward when I saw them last, so we'll see if they're going to be able to have a similar performance. Granted, I do feel this UTS team is a top 3 team in this event. I would go so far as to say, because all around, they might not have like the big star players, like there's no negative on the team, let's say, but what they do have is 3 strong, like very strong players, and I feel that consistency is going to get them through.
Yeah, well, you talk about negative, and I got to say, negative does have a blue title. If you don't know what that means, it means they made RLCS qualifier top 8. And Negative did it alongside Cyrexel. So there is actually a teammate. So Cyrexel, I definitely think, is a standout player as well to watch out for. They have got 2 very good supporting players, but sometimes individuals can't really take you to that win. So we might see UQU Freestylers kind of make that team play. You said that they've been together for a while, possibly. So that also might play into some into their favor in getting this win.
I think that's why my mind went to Negative. In reality, I was thinking Morse. Morse was who was on my mind, and I just said Negative, who we're going to be seeing play later tonight. Actually, Negative is going to be in our second match. A lot of top players in the league, and it's a very even league, I feel, this year, especially compared to previous. That's going to be our opening goal coming from the UQ side. Lil Pete on FN is the one who puts it in.
Yeah, really nice play. Just catching the defense, lacking their UTS, not rotating. That a player at back post, that a player on backboard. Neither one able to get the save, and it's got to be good to get that first goal out of the way. Maybe the pressure from the playoffs might be a little bit relaxed now, but still got plenty of games. Best of 7, so this is a long run. It's not a best of 5 where you get those first 2 games and you're already on a reverse sweep. This is these players are in it for the long haul, and that being said, UTS get 1 straight back on the board. Answer back nice and quickly, and 3 minutes to go, 1-1.
Yeah, it's a good response, and Flicky is going to be looking to add another one as well. Off that backboard, doesn't get that second touch. So it'll be Lil Pete trying to connect it to DZ across the middle. I mean, yeah, I'm just thinking back again to previous years and just how dominant. The more I think about that University of Melbourne lineup,
yeah,
that was just ridiculous. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's good to see more even competition. I kind of wish we saw someone take down that Melbourne lineup. You got Caveman Ben and Riv on the same team. You know it's going to be horrifying.
I think we had some good front runners this time as well to try and take them down, which, as I said, you do want to see a team not leave. You do want to see a team stay in the competition and finally get taken down. We're not going to be able to see that, but definitely some good competition here to try and make that run. But at the end of the day, you look at the individual performance, you look at their accolades as a team.
Yeah,
it's really hard to imagine someone taking them down.
Yeah, it was hard. It was hard, and while we're not necessarily seeing it here, we saw Griffith get close. Griffith and, the University of Melbourne, not even in the top 8 this season, just to show how different this year has gone. UTS, though, I did call them a top 3 team. I'm going to stand by that. I think there's potential for this team as well to possibly even go top 2 if they have that lower bracket run. And it's kind of crazy for me because I spoke about this a fair bit last night when I was casting solo. UTS is not just Rocket League that this university is good at. Pretty much when you look at all of the sports, both in AEL and in other intervarsity competitions, they just seem to be strong in everything.
Yeah, and, Flicky, again, a nice shot there, too tied up. And that's really good to see. I wish... It always makes me want to go back to university. It almost makes me want to... AEL doing a great job at really expanding into high school league as well as university league. Having these opportunities, having an extra reason to go to class, to study, because you get to do something you love while doing it as well, like esports, which is, you know, the scene that's up and coming. And it's just really good to see a lot of these universities making it available for their the members of their university and of their community.
Yeah, it has been fantastic to see, and hopefully these esports programs do continue to develop and grow and change. I know the UQ side of things, their esports program is going through a little bit of an overhaul right now. Don't know how much I'm privy to share. Let's just say it's new management is in the house right now, and you know, they have the best interest, I should say, of the school as well. So we'll be curious to see how this team will develop in the near future. As it stands, it's actually a tie game. 44 seconds remaining. I kept saying UTS is probably my favorites in this one, but they're on the back foot right now. This UQ attack really keeping UTS on that backboard, I feel.
Yeah, just the solid rotations really catching them off guard, doing a really good job. It is going to go back into their side of the field, though, but as you said, the offense bringing it straight back down, trying to put shot after shot. Once they finally move down into the offensive end, trying to just secure the pressure and make sure they're cutting rotations, staying on field, not giving too much space to this UTS side. And I know a lot of the individual players on UTS, and if you give them space, if you give them that time to do the solo plays, they will punish you for it. UQU doing a really good job at denying that.
Yeah, I mean, for UQ, it looks as if they're going to be taking this one to an overtime with that clear right there. Sorexel actually keeps the ball alive, and you've got DZ in position, slowing it down. Didn't want to go for the double. I'm a little bit surprised by that. The ball will hit the ground, so that's going to be an overtime. I believe it was 2019 or even 2020. I'm trying to remember when we last saw UQ make a deep run in the playoffs with, might I add, DZ on the team when they got that top 3 finish. So I definitely don't feel the nerves are going to be a problem. Case in point, that one goes through. That was DZ with the game-winning goal, and blink, but you miss it in overtime. UQU take game 1.
Yeah, and that's an amazing bump there for Lil Pete to try and take out the defense. And we talk about it here again. UTS, very good lineup, but UQU, a team that has been together for a while, that has been really trying to grow as a team and probably know each other's gameplay and their play style way better than anyone else in the comp. So proving it there, the rotations are solid. They're going for demos. They're trying to be active on the play at all times. And a team like that can take down any team, you know, even better than individually. But if you got that team chemistry, if you know how each other play, you can easily take it to these teams and they get the first game. And
it was most shown during those offensive rotations, particularly during the second half of that game, where we saw what UQ can do if given earnest, given space, and allowed to sort of play proactively. Well, off this kickoff, though, here's some of that individual skill. Not quite going to be in there for UTS. That was Sorexel. Just a bit short finding that opening goal. His second attempt pushes it a bit wide.
Yeah, shot's not on target here for UTS, but Flicky trying to get the double touch, won't be able to find it. Will be cleaned up, it won't. Can't find the angle, and 30 seconds into the game, that's almost 3 missed opportunities. Sorexel going for another one, gets the flip reset, trying to get the double flip reset, backflips into it, couldn't quite get that, and UTS not able to get one on the board. UQU survive.
Yeah, very fortunate for UQU to survive that, but they're not necessarily out of danger just yet. Sorexel, again, finding great ways to center that ball. Normally you expect Flicky to hit it. Knight, you know, will hit it. Knight, I would argue, one of the more consistent members next to Sorexel on this team. That's still going to be a great opening goal, one that UTS, I feel, needed after possibly being caught a bit off guard on the way how Game 1 went.
Yeah, exactly, and you've got that game, you got that goal lead already. You're the only team that's pretty much been on offense the whole time, so UQ definitely need to sort out their rotations. They need to get back to what they know best and try and get back on the offensive end as they have got an opportunity here. A demo coming out, will be played high into the goal square. One up for it. Lil Pete looking for the double, couldn't quite find it, so Sorexel will send it into the corner. We'll send it the other way, and UTS seem to be warming up a little bit, getting the shot on target. Good musty flick by Sorexel. Knight couldn't follow it up, and that's another missed opportunity for UTS.
Going for musties already. I like it. I appreciate it. Granted, when you pull those off, it's not just the style, the power you get from that approach often will catch defenses off guard, and that's a great save from Sorexel. Not going to be able to find one past DZ, however. Tie ball game.
I thought they were going to get away with that save there. Good opportunity. Luckily, they are able to get there in time to tie that one up, and this game is looking very close. Might be in for a long series, unless they can get an opportunity here. Shot on target, won't quite find it. Flicky is just going to try and buy time, using their space well in the midfield to not give up too much freedom on the ball. And a bit of a stalemate here. No team really able to push onto the other one. And these two teams really well matched, but I think for different reasons as well, which is interesting to see.
Yeah, it's two different styles for sure. I would dare say that UQ has almost looked more disciplined, whereas when you looked at UTS, they're a lot faster, a lot flashier, more committed to plays for better or for worse at times. And we've seen mixed success going both ways. Typically, I would sort of value the team that is more disciplined, but I haven't seen the mechanical prowess just yet out of UQ that makes me think that it's going to be a definitive edge in this series.
Exactly right. UTS, it's only a matter of time before they start putting their shots on target. Flicky able to get that one. And if they start shooting with better accuracy, start hitting those shots that they've been missing all game with their mechanical prowess that you're talking about, that's where they really get the upper edge and will look scary. Right now, UQ, you aren't really getting punished for the way that UTS is shooting on target, but when they do, that's when it will start to go downhill unless UQ can start to utilize their strengths in terms of just that solid rotation and team chemistry. But at the end of the day, I think the speed and mechanics will play through from UTS as long as they can keep putting shots on net and can find their edge in this game.
Well, that said, I almost want to see them stop taking so many shots on net as, oh my gosh, going for a reset off the roof, not quite able to find it, Rexel. I almost want to see them start using that for pass plays as well to mix it up, because I feel with a lot of these shots going straight towards net, it has been quite easy for UQ to make these defensive reads, but when you start instead, going for backboard passes off of your musty or off of your reset, that's where you're going to get the defense of UQ more off balance and create more openings for that follow through. Case in point, look at Knight's opening goal in this game alone. I want to see more of that come from the UTS side, although with the ball in front of the net, no one was actually there to punish. A little bit surprised, typically UTS would have been there.
Yeah, and the shots are firing still. Rexel does put one on target, will be easy to play aside. Flicky with a demo will be cleared down. And you talk about that mechanical prowess in terms of looking for the pass and stuff like that. We have seen some great players in the past use those mechanics for pass plays and for team setups rather than just putting a shot on net. And that's where we see them be most effective in cheating upfield, going for those redirects, looking to pass it instead of just shoot it on target and throw away possession. And I feel like that is one of the best uses for mechanics. And if you're right, if UTS can really start utilizing that as well, they just have another kind of firing option here that can throw UQ in all sorts.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of strange to me, though, because that's typically something that you don't establish, that level of trust / awareness from a team. That comes from team play, practice together. And while you can argue that UTS, they might not be experienced playing with each other, we are at the end of the season. By this stage, they should kind of know each other's tendencies. So that's why I think if they do start going for more mechanical passes, they can absolutely get away with it. And that mechanical flair has been lasting from the UQ side as they had one last chance right there. Little Pete unable to wrap around the ball. It rolls down the middle and, well, into game 3. Tie scoreline right now. We're sitting at 1 apiece.
Yeah, had an opportunity there for the quick counterattack, but 0 seconds left. You have to fully commit for that one. You have to try and get that last second goal. Unable to do it there, so they will try again in game number 3. And I'm actually very impressed with how this game is looking so far in terms of the scoreline and just how close it is. I think UQU definitely need to work on some stuff because UTS has all the offensive pressure. They're the ones that are constantly staying on the end, making sure they grab that mid boost, quickly rotate, not expressing and giving that time in the midfield. And that's one thing that we are going to see here. See if UQU can start punishing and just get on that offensive end.
Well, we're going to see it right now, too, because underway game number 3. UQ definitely bringing the fight to UTS as... maybe not in a way we may have expected it to be brought. I actually thought that if UQ was going to be going even 1-1, it would have been off of, egregious UTS misplays. However, that hasn't really been the case. This has been a pretty clean series thus far. Not a lot of unforced errors.
Yeah, that's always good to see, is that clean level of play in terms of no double commits. We're not forcing anything too ridiculous. Players seem to be communicating really well. They know what they're trying to achieve as a team and as individuals, and they're really showing up and demonstrating that here.
That said, we didn't start seeing the unforced errors from the UQ side until they started to fall behind and we started to see that pressure really get put on them. I think as this series progresses, whether or not UQ is going to be able to maintain that consistency is going to be a point to look out for. UTS with a chance, but it's McLaren from underneath who finds not 1 but 2 touches to clear past midfield.
Yeah, and that, just speaking on that again, that is a very good point in terms of this is do or die situation. This is if you lose this series, you are out of the Uni League. Will that start to be a pressure point here for UQU? I know UTS have a lot of experience in these high pressure situations, maybe not as a team, but will that pressure start to play a factor between these two teams?
It's an interesting one because you have UTS, a team that has that expectations to hit at least top 3 versus the UQ side, which has players with the experience of making it to top 3 in AEL events in the past. So you would expect both sides to be sort of accustomed to the pressure just due to the pedigree, especially on the players on the UTS side. It's just something, though, that has come back to hurt them, and you could argue that has come back to hurt UQ in the past as well. And when you go back and you remember that series in particular, I wish I remember what year it was. I'm pretty sure it was 2019 season 2 when it happened, where they essentially had, I think it was a game 7, like 13-minute overtime against Griffith. Winner goes to the grand final. Like, it was insane, and that's going to be an opening goal. UQ, well, maybe they're not feeling that much pressure right now as they go up 1-0.
Yeah, just good demo plays. And we talk about first man yet again being active on the play with this UQU side. If you're out of the play, they're always looking to actively think about what they can do. They've gone for a few bump plays. It has worked out, catching that last man back. Doing it really well. They're able to get one on the goal, and it is interesting. And you talk about Griffith University. That's definitely not an easy game to get matched up on in the was it the lower bracket?
Yeah, it was the lower bracket final when that went down. It was Griffith versus UQU Purple. And just to like highlight the names, Griffith was Noisy Baked Potato Paradise. The UQU Purple side was Jesse, DZ, and Leduc.
That's definitely a good side. That's almost a side that you'll see in terms of level wise in like RLCS and other outside tournaments. Like all these guys go to the same uni together and they're all playing together. That is insane, and that's the kind of level that we've started to build up in University League. Is there are some teams out here that straight up play outside here as well, and they're definitely at some of the top levels in OCE.
Yeah, no, that series, I guess the reason why I like to hone in on it so much is because at the time, I was just beginning Rocket League casting, just starting to get into it, and that was the series that had me convinced I want to do this because it was awe-inspiring. It should be also worth noting that even though Griffith did win that one, they went on to get absolutely smashed in the final by who else but the University of Melbourne. Have a guess on the players on the University of Melbourne side, but I'm going to spoil anyways. One Caveman Ben, one Tolentino, one Riv. Yeah.
They're all right, aren't they?
Yeah, they're pretty good. They're pretty good.
Players. Yeah, I heard they play Rocket League event like sometimes. It's good to see.
Good to see. It is cool, though, that this is going to be like our first champion in, I believe, 4 seasons, maybe even more, that isn't going to be UOM, because UOM not in it. It could be UTS. It could be UQ. It is going to be a shot from Flicky, and it's going to go through.
You're a poet, you didn't even know it as you go through. Just over 1 minute to go, finally tying the game up. We're going to have to try and get another quick one. You don't want to be left in the last few seconds of the game. Being down 1 goal, and a pinch might make that happen. Top corner, couldn't quite find that. Flicky's going to keep the pressure alive.
So doing my research, going back in time, having a little looky-loo. Yeah, it was Season 2 the last time UOM didn't win one of these. It was actually Deacon who won it with that lineup of Slurpee, Vive, and Plitz in Season 2. So Vive, actually a formal AEL champion. I did not know that.
I didn't know that too, and that's actually amazing to see. His Vive's been up at that level before. I know Plitz came back into the scene a while ago, but he's no longer. He was a pro player back in the day as well. He's teamed with other members like Zen and players like that. So Plitz was definitely up there as well. So it's always funny to see just how stacked the individual players that we have in this league are.
Yeah, and I mean, if we continue to go all the way back as well, Little Pete actually was playing for the UQ side back in Season 2. So he's still around and having another go at a deep run. This could be his last year, might I add, because this event has been happening for a few years now. Some of these students may have been playing as freshmen before, but are seniors now. Tie ball game 2 apiece. Looking like we're going to be going to a Game 3 overtime, or are we? Ball in front of the net. Flicky will clear it to safety, actually throwing it over to the teammate as we get to see if Flicky makes that play. Knight's going to have to try and fall back now. We'll lose possession of the ball. It should hit the ground, and we got an overtime.
I was wondering how long that ball was going to stay up for. Anything is possible, especially with that 0 second. It's one factor I do love about Rocket League is the fact that ball hits second, clock hits second, 0 second, sorry. It's not over. Still plenty of shots. Flicky with a shot, comes out, couldn't quite get that one out. Crossbar out. We'll keep the pressure alive. They are going to send it down into UTS's side, looking to keep those clean rotations. They're finally on the offensive end. Look, he'll play the ball in the corner, looking to pass it out. Pete will look for the center. Couldn't quite find it. Will be played into the corner.
As we continue to play through, one last fun fact about the pass, okay? There has never been a champion of the AEL Uni League that hasn't been top 8 RLCS at some stage. Because even in Season 1, you got Nerd, you got Lim for RMIT, and, you know, another unknown player who goes by Walcott, I believe, was also on that lineup. So, yeah. It feels as if, you know, you win the AEL InterVarsity, you win the Uni. There's a pro career in your future when it comes to Rocket League.
Yeah, well, if you're going to be playing at this kind of level, matching up against these players, I'll definitely say that anyone in this top 8 is entitled and maybe should start looking into playing a few of those RLCS events. It would be great to see more people involved in that as well. And it is great to see those top tier level players. The final match is always the most exciting when you've got more and more. And as I said, all these players just go to the same university. Imagine that you rock up to university one day and, you know, Riv and Caveman better there, and they're like, hey, you want to play this this AEL tournament? You want to put together a team?
Yeah, I'm just spooked right now because what if Walcott decides to make that return for RMIT Red? What if we see the return of Walcott there? That would be interesting. What if Leduc just comes from out of the subs for UQ in this series right here and starts to bring it back? That would the unknown. You never know what to expect. Nearly 2 minutes into this Game 3 overtime, by the way. We have been going back and forth, and it looks like it's over now. DZ putting it in, 1:55 on the clock, and it's UQ. They don't even need LeDuctins. They're up 2-1.
Yeah, definitely take the serious score here. Great play from D's, doing a really good job at just really being on the offensive pressure there, making sure we're putting those final shots in. And that almost felt like a caster curse or something, because as soon as we transitioned back over to the gameplay, a goal is scored. Perfect timing. And the long OTs, definitely not to be messed with here. And the worst part about the long OTs in a game 7, best of 7, sorry, you're just making the series go for longer and longer. If these players can't handle the long time at this high intensity, we might start to see a few more cracks in both teams' defense and offense moving forward.
Yeah, I have to admit, I haven't really seen too many cracks yet, though. I feel like both these teams have been playing still, for the most part, very, very solid. And again, when I think UQ Rocket League, I always think long overtimes. I might be biased. That's a quick kickoff goal as well from the UQ side, picking up right where they left off with another 1-0 lead.
Yeah, looking very dominating. Maybe a bit of momentum carried forth from that overtime win. Cyrexel with the bump, flickies up, can't quite find the angle, does get the flip for the pancake shot as well. Couldn't put that one in either, and that's a missed opportunity. It's going to be set the other way. Cyrexel will play it out to the corner. No players came out messing around here. They've come out guns firing. Neither team wants to lose this game, and we're only 20 seconds in.
Yeah, absolutely. They are going at it with this one. Ball will roll across the box. McLaren's going to try to chase it up. So, again, a little bit off topic. Yesterday, I kind of went on about how I felt on the side, particularly of UTS, when looking at sort of the best-looking car. I leaned on this look from Knight, actually, which I thought was the best. I'm going to have to make an amendment. Flicky has the best-looking car today.
I've played with Flicky recently, and he does love that car, the RLCS painted lime. I do love painted lime decals because they set the.
Oh!
I'm sorry. I'm just gonna have to stop what I'm saying.
No.
He's with an amazing double touch.
We're replaying this one. We're watching this again. I can't let that go through. Not without another look.
To read that and get the double touch is absolutely insane. Putting that one in, getting the second goal. Deez is on fire tonight.
Yeah, that. If you weren't awake before, you're going to be awake after that. UQ 2-0 up, 2-1 series lead. They get this. They go on to match point. They could be taking out one of the favorites.
Yeah, and doing it so early as well in the lower bracket will be not ideal here for this UTS side. As you said, there's a bit of pressure on them to make that top 3 run, and getting taken out already just proves how much UQU is a threat to be not to be messed with here in this playoff.
No, absolutely not. I'm really glad, too, that they are having this chance to show what this team can be made of, because I'm sure for a lot of, the amateur tournament grinders or even the RLCS tournament grinders, they probably look at UQ, might not recognize these names. They could think, all right, this should be an easy double. UQ proving to be anything but that. This defense doing such a good job at surviving, these constant attacks, these straight shots again and again and again. UTS, they're going to have to find ways to mix up this attack because UQ's defense has them red.
Yeah, exactly right. And that's where we talk about the rotations. Is they're solid on defense, making sure they're not forcing double commits. They're not putting too many cracks. There's a shot on target. Zarek still can't quite put that one on. Flicky yet again. UTS going back to their old ways of not being able to find these shots.
That was what you need to do to mix it up, though. That fast infield pass straight down the middle. Sorexel, you feel like he's going to hit that one 80% of the time. Just a bit unfortunate. Wasn't able to get it there. And that costs, another scoring opportunity. Flicky had a chance to spike it. That was a tough angle. Sorexel, by this stage, will be defended upon, although with Little Pete keeping his eyes on the wrong attacker, nearly let another shot go through from Knight. UQ, they're showing gaps in that defense, but they're also showing musties on offense now.
Yeah, definitely trying to expand their creative horizon. I think that's what UTS is kind of thrown off with. They're realizing they have to be a lot more creative than they thought, trying to go for these plays. But we talk about defensive cracks. I think we may have just found one.
Yes, that's not a crack. That is a hole in the wall that needs to be plastered up, unfortunately. A little bit of an unforced error there in what had been previously a very clean series. It's really amazing how a 2-goal lead changing to a 1-goal lead really can turn an entire sort of, momentum, an entire sense on its head. UQ was looking comfortable before. They're looking anything but now. Double commit, miss, and Flicky's going to beat DZ to the play. That's going to be a tie ball game.
Just gets it around and also just puts it in at the bottom left corner there. Rolls its way up and in. Ties up the game, and that is why Rocket League is such a unique game. You want that security goal. You want that 2-goal lead, because when clock hits 0, the game is not over. You still have a chance to make that comeback. A 1-goal lead is never safe in Rocket League, especially with all the players on the pitch here being able to make anything happen at practically any time.
And I'm just noticing more and more mistakes now coming from the UQ side, more and more unforced errors. We sort of saw this last night as well, where the team, they come out hot and then they start to get sloppy as the match progresses. And you cannot afford to do that against UTS. Granted, it's not as if UQ had the easiest opponents in the world last night as well. They were up against RMIT Red, as I was sort of speaking about before. That is Nosk, Mandiria, and Buddha. However, I would argue that UTS is almost a tougher opponent than that. And you can see they started off strong, now starting to slip up. Another couple mistakes like that, and they could see this lead slipping away.
Yeah, you want to make sure securing this win is absolutely huge. Moving forward, making the other team have to pull off practically a best-of-5 reverse sweep. Can they get it, though? Or will we see another tie series here? Time winding down, 30 seconds to go. It is tied. DZ trying to make something else happen for his team. Get that center. Couldn't quite do it. Sorry, so we'll send it the other way. Pass into midfield over to Knight, who will play it downfield. And also just playing a bit of ping pong action. UTS trying to get something creative going. They're not looking for the usual shots. They're trying to really force out the defense. Do something that UQ you won't really expect.
Yeah, it's not finding the same success that we saw earlier in this one. I think realistically, they need to rely on some of those unforced errors almost. That's been what's been working, although Flicky nearly had a chance to break away on 0 seconds. We go to an overtime, our second in a row. Last one, right about 2.5 minutes. We'll see how we go our second time around.
Yeah, well, there's no telling how long this one's going to be or how quick it's going to be, as both teams are being matched up very well. So Rexel looking for a touchdown field. Try to get, I just want to, sorry, Space Station Gaming, actually, that decal is very nice. I got to give that car some credit. Very clean decal. I actually thought it was the previous Splice one, which is why I tried to make a point of it, because that Splice decal doesn't exist anymore, but Flicky, what a save there. He can't get it. They do put it away, but what a save.
That's heartbreaking for UQ, because they did everything right except for clearing the ball to safety. End result's going to be a win for UTS in a tie series. That was a dramatic ending to that game.
I may have gone off topic a little bit there and then quickly turned that around, but what a save. It's so hard because you get a save like that. it's almost impossible to get a save like that and place it out of harm's way. There's not too much you can do about that. So then to just have it quickly turned around for a goal has got to be heartbreaking, because that save on the goal line pinch out is absolutely insane.
Yeah, that was phenomenal. Just unfortunate that they couldn't keep it going from there. Still, that just means we got a tie series going into Game 5. 2 apiece win this match. That's starting as soon as I push the go button right now. There it is. Then we're going to see who is advancing to that match point, who is looking to stay alive in this event. Both teams have made strong arguments thus far. Let's see what Knight can do. It's a pass back towards the middle. Flicky there. Won't be able to put it straight. And now we see that Space Station Gaming. Did it switch sides? I'm pretty sure Knight was using it last game, and now it's being used by the UQ side.
I think if we run it back a little bit, I think I did call that player Knight at one point because of the decal. I may have got a little bit confused there, but no, what decal's Knight rocking? Yeah, I believe they were rocking a Space Station in the previous.
They had Vitality game 1. Knight had Vitality game 1. Game 2, he went with Well, he went with Sorexel as his teammate. He went with the Wolf logo game 2. And then game 3, I think he went Space Station. And now DZ is rocking the Space Station.
You know, we talk about placebo effect. We talk about players needing to make sure everything's right, everything's set up properly. And decals have a lot to do with that. I know that a lot of players at any rank will say that they're actually faster in one decal compared to another. It's just a placebo thing. I know most gamers have it. Maybe Knight needs to change up the decal every single game in order to peak.
That could be the case. I mean, I know for me, it is the Dominus Interstellar. That is, for me, that's the winning decal. Yet I refuse to use it because the Green Bay Packers have a decal, and I actually think I'm slow as hell on it and play badly. But it's my team. I have to support my team. What do you do when your team makes you play bad, Tins?
Change the decal. Change the decal. Maybe go for a team loadout now. Everyone on the same team rock the same decal. Maybe that's what we need in University League. I don't think we've seen too many of that. But that being said, I do want to point out Cyrexel's decal. He has used that decal title stream, I believe, for as long as I've known, at least a year. Every time I see him, always in that decal. Maybe that's the winning factor. Maybe everyone needs to go on the title stream, but Deez needs to get a save. Does that, but Cyrexel there to clean it up.
Sorexel with the spike. I think he was stamping that goal in with authority. 2-0 lead for UTS as we're continuing to plug along in this one. Starting to look a bit more one-sided. I mean, those past 2 goals that we've seen from Sorexel, I'm starting to feel like he's starting to feel himself a bit more. Caster curse, okay, leaves the net open, and that gets put in by the little Pete.
Yeah, doing a very good job here. Definitely showing up for the team. Definitely player to watch. And it just feels like every time the ball is in the net, Cyrexel has just come from like the ceiling, or whoever knows where to score those goals. It always is great to see just a player come out of nowhere from the ceiling, from the air, wherever, to put those one away. And he's trying to go for another one here. Does get the flip race set. Good early challenge. Will send the ball back their way.
Yeah, as we see the follow through from Little Pete as well. Backboard DZ not in position. McLaren was, and you got to hit those. Half that net was open. Ball was placed nearly in the right spot. UQ missing a chance there.
Yeah, and doing a good job of keeping the pressure alive here to try and buy their team a little bit of space to get some boost, get some resources, try and make that comeback yet again. Down by a goal, still half a game left to go, and we see an opportunity here. Cyrexel off the ceiling yet again, looking for a double out to midfield. Does get a catch, but it won't be able to do too much. And right now, just going from backboard to backboard. UTS just unable to really hit up their teammates. Going for more of the solo plays until now. Flicky looking to pass back down to Cyrexel. Cyrexel is up, but way off target. Won't be able to put that one away.
Yeah, back and forth we are starting to go at this time being. It's interesting because even though we're getting a lot of back and forth Rocket League, it's not your typical ping pong where teams are staying back. Teams are pressing forward. Flicky sees an open net, puts it high and off the McLaren and in.
The own goal, that's not what you want to see. Still plenty of time in this game, but that's always heartbreaking when you just don't read the crossbar down. You're in an awkward position and there's nothing you can do. You can't move. It happens so fast. You've put that one in, and now they need 2 goals to try and make up for it.
You know, I feel for McLaren after that. I went through a similar experience myself earlier today. That's okay. UQ is going to get some redemption, put another one through, and take us back within 1.
Yeah, doing amazing here on the offensive. Finally starting to feel their groove for it, getting back, as I believe they haven't been scoring too much in the previous games. This one, Knight off the ceiling though, going off the backboard, won't be able to find it. And UQU on the come up here. Can they keep the momentum, or is Flicky going to get a goal here? Looking for a 50. Couldn't find that one either. And UQU just seem to be scrounging on defense to try and get in the positions to save these shots.
Yeah, they're sort of just desperately on that back foot, and Knight will push them, I suppose, over that cliff's edge. A 4-2 lead off of a very aggressive spike. That is what UTS was looking for. I think they're going to be feeling a lot more comfortable now. 2 goals, 2 points up, less than a minute remaining, and a chance to go to match point.
Yeah, UTS's shots looking a lot better as well in terms of, I believe they're just trying to put shot after shot, force UQU into these defensive errors, into these awkward situations. And you do that 3 or 4 times, a team's going to run out of resources, they're going to run out of opportunities, and the net will be open, which is what UTS is doing really well at.
Yeah, they have been doing a pretty phenomenal job thus far as we hit our final 28 seconds. DZ going to go for that long clear ball. Nearly falls down. Will be read by Sirexel, but that's until DZ will play through the corner. Another ball in front of the net. McLaren hesitates and doesn't find that touch. It looked like there was a chance. The angle was a little bit awkward, although by missing that goal, you have to feel like that's also missing out on this game. UTS almost let another one through. Was that an own goal touch by Flicky that just went off the post?
I believe so. Might have been calculated. You just never know, but definitely almost had the opportunity there. And UQU forcing out a few triple commits there from UTS, but just not converting on these shots. And that's what we can't have. We're in the playoffs now. This is where you've got to shine. And you can't just be affording to be missing these little shots that you really need to start converting if you want to make that top 3 push.
Yeah, I have to agree. Those are the ones that you've got to be able to put in. And unfortunately, UQ, they were making the mistakes that I felt like UTS were making at the start. And moving forwards, that could be the difference in this series. We still have possibly 2 more games, maybe only 1. Sort of depends on how this next game goes. But if UTS finds that victory, they're advancing to the top 6. They're keeping their hopes and dreams alive. And I feel like until we see that consistency again from UQ, it's probably going to go UTS's way.
Yeah, definitely need to clean up their play just a little bit. And also along the side of UTS, they're doing a really good job, but we talked about if they finally started hitting their shots, if they finally started making those plays that we know they can individually, that we will start to see them outplay. And UQU just not doing a really good job at counteracting that, and they're just getting forced into these awkward positions with no boost. And eventually, if a team is staying on offense for 30 seconds to a minute, they're going to eventually score regardless, purely just off having the boost to get up and play at the height that this UTS roster is playing at.
And I want you to think back, too, to sort of what the goals from UTS actually look like and what one of our criticisms were of this team earlier in the series. It felt like every shot was just sort of like a straight one on net. Well, now they're getting creative with it. We're seeing spikes from above the goal. We're seeing double touches like that from Sirexel. They have gotten more adaptive and more sort of using more ingenuity almost when it comes for these shots. It's definitely a good showing sign as off the post, Flicky can make the read, and once more it's UTS in the lead.
Yeah, we see again, it was about 4 shots hitting the backboard, and eventually with clean rotations, forcing an awkward position, they're able to get one on goal. And it's literally the story right now for UTS, just doing a really good job at forcing out these defenders, putting them in awkward position. Because I'm sorry, I don't want to be the one stuck in net when I've got a UTS member off the ceiling coming straight at me looking to put that goal in net.
Yeah, they are trying to get that one through. I absolutely agree. Sirexel will get demoed. It's a little spooky. Instead, we'll see a play from McLaren and a chance perhaps for UQ, but they're more content on rotating all the way back. I suppose that's because DZ was in position. And, well, Lil Pete still too far back to make a realistic channel. I wonder if UQ is starting to get to their head a bit because we're not seeing that same sort of aggression, I suppose, in terms of their rotations that we saw earlier in this series.
Yeah, we saw a good midfield challenge opportunity there, but instead they've decided to go back post to their own net. Maybe they're just losing that confidence that gave them that midfield pressure and let them keep the ball on their offensive end for time after time, just with those solid rotations. Now they just seem to be stuck in defense. Maybe as the series goes on, they're getting a little bit tired. Maybe they're just losing that confidence when UTS went on match point, but I just want to see them play in that midfield, really start to force the hand of UTS, because that's when UQU look their best.
Yeah, and they're still keeping one defender usually midfield, but they haven't been able to win those challenges because it's frequently been a midfielder just slightly off as well. So even the strengths of UQ not really showing us what they had before that. Looked like an opening, a very unfortunate whiff right there. DZ will keep the attacking pressure moving forward. Does go for that second touch, doesn't find it. Flicky, challenged by Little Pete. Lets the ball go behind him. Little Pete needs to follow this one up. Gets the bump, and here comes McLaren. Gets demoed, but got the pass, and it doesn't turn it into a goal. Defense barely able to hold on for UTS.
And they get something to happen here, or will we see a nice infield pass here from Knight, a little bit too high, so they will be looking to send it the other way. 2 defenders falling out. He's going to leave Pete in a bad position, but a really nice clear will send it down to midfield. Meets an offensive member there in the midfield, looking to put a shot on target. 2 players back, so it won't be quite enough, and those long clears are giving time for UTS. Need to see more keeping the ball close, those tightly impacts, but that's a great pass play from UQU, and I'm really good to see the team play moving up the field.
Yeah, the team plays trying to press forward a bit more. Flicky actually going to bump McLaren completely out of the play right now, but UQ is able to hold on to the offense nonetheless, at least until Sir Rexel gets a good beat on DZ. Now Knight with a chance. Adds the ball to Flicky. What? How did that go in?
He just waited. He saw all 3 members in his point of view, so he knew no one was back. All he had to do was force the 50, doing a really good job there. And I don't know if you've ever tried to beat a Dominus in a 50. It is one of the hardest things in Rocket League, and I really feel bad for whoever tried to save that, because an Octane got up against a Dominus on the goal line, and that's almost never going to go in your favor.
So Dominuses hit the ball harder. They win 50s more often. Why does anyone even play the Octane, Tins?
Look, maybe that's a podcast we need to do in terms of Rocket League cars, because we could probably talk all day about that. The Dominus is just such a weird feeling car. Octane has that more consistency, and we also see that in the Fennec as well. We have actually a full lobby stacked full of the 3 most favorite cars.
Yeah, that we do. And I want to go back, though. I mean, also, no one should be playing the Octane because the Fennec exists. It's the same hitbox, but more accurate. I don't know. Either way, that's going to be some shots off target off that backboard. 43 seconds left. Looking more and more like UTS. Probably going to be walking away with this one unless we see that last-ditch effort come out of UQ.
Yeah, time is running down. They need to start seeing it, and Flicky and Cyrus are going for a little bit of a pinch there. All they're doing is just trying to keep the ball high. They're trying to maintain possession, keep the ball out of UQU, because all they got to do is let that time wind down, and they will be taking the victory here unless they have something to say about it. At 50 going the Dominus way, big surprise. Cyrus will send it back down the corner, and time is running down. 15 seconds. What a shot there from Knight. Seeing the mechanics coming out there. Very unorthodox way to score it, but that being said, makes it look all that much sweeter.
Night, UQ. With that goal, it's going to do it. Yeah, it's going to be a UTS victory. I mean, they're shooting on their own net now. I know that was probably a backboard pass, but still, it's safe to say that UTS, they will be coming out on top. It was a fight from UQ, and they look strong for, I would say, 80% of that series, but a couple unforced errors, particularly in that latter half, really did let this orange side down.
Yeah, UTS definitely showing the dominant performance in the end there, but UQU, as someone who's never watched them play yet, I'm actually going to be paying close attention to them next time it comes around if they do participate. It was actually really good seeing them play, and they have such good potential to kind of bring it to that next level, as well as just their team play and how they compose themselves. Got a little bit rough towards the end there, but I think that's just the best of 7 getting the better of them, and just playing at that high level at that longer time can really take a toll on anyone. But that being said, UQU doing a very good job, and it was a pleasure to watch them play. Yeah,
it was a absolute banger of a match, and well, it's only our first of our double header. That's right, we've got another one coming in just a few moments. It's going to be USYD Rocket Lorg versus a UOW Esports Red. We're going to throw it to a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to be straight into that. So don't go too far. More Rocket League when we briefly return. And we are back as we get ready for our next series. USYD Rocket Lorg taking on UOW Esports Red. Look, Dr. Nuggies, I don't know if you're watching the stream or not. You've invited me to that party a couple times now. We're not doing that. But we are doing is more Rocket League. You can hear the ping, I think. I'm pretty sure of, like, I'm getting invited. But yeah, no, that's not what we're about. USYD Rocket Lorg, UOW Esports Red. And I think both of us are in agreement coming into this. USYD, probably the favorites.
Yeah, definitely. They've got the individual players. They've got their team players. I have seen them play a few times. They play very well individually as a team. That being said, I don't think I've seen the UOW team actually play once, and they did play very well, but we'll be interesting to see how they go against this University of Sydney side as we are already into game number 1.
Yeah, just going straight into it. I mean, obviously you're good if you're making top 8. We've talked about the prestige of this event, you know, during our last series. So to make top 8 is always a strong side for sure. Now, when you look at these two teams, the University of WA, Red, or Western Australia Red, they came up against the UON New Boomers, I believe, in their winners quarterfinal match. They lost that one 4-2. USYD went up against UniSA beating Lethal. They lost that one 4-1. UniSA did go on, by the way, to sort of win that winter semifinal match 4-3. So that shows how close those two teams are. They each kind of won in a similar facet. This could be a very close series.
Yeah, some of the players that we've got here, and the fact that both teams are in the lower bracket because of teams that are projected to make it all the way, and starting out already, University of Sydney getting one on the board. And I don't think any of these teams can be ashamed of being in the lower bracket already. Like, to go up against the teams that they've already gone up against, it does just prove how this top 8 is completely stacked, and it's going to be a hard matchup no matter who you get.
Yeah, it was Sai who scored that first goal, and I do absolutely agree. I think just making it to the top 8 in an event that had, I believe it was 37. Like 37 teams. Yeah, 37 teams. Like, that's kind of crazy. So you're in that top quarter playing against the best of the best. You got to be proud of that. Unfortunately, only one of these teams can advance to that top 6. The reason why I brought up that semifinal result, though, which is known, UON Boomers now go up against UTS in losers round 2. I just want to think about that one briefly for a little bit. These are two teams that should be in the top 4. Well, only one of them will be because, like, they are up against each other in that lower bracket. This lower bracket is kind of nasty.
Yeah, and it just shows that seeding is everything, because you're gonna make that top 4. There's only chance that to make that, you're gonna be up against a team who is projected to make it as well. So it is annoying seeing those kind of matchups because only one team's making it through, which is, I feel like we should see both those teams up there. So it is interesting to see that. And I do want to touch on that 37 teams just one more time, because there is about, I think, 9 to 10 or 8 to 9 players, as
Eki.
They do manage to get another one. Eki does put one on the board there, but there is 9 to 8 players in 4 groups. And out of those 9 to 8 teams, you have to finish top 2.
Yes.
Like, to make it through that is so hard. It's such a long season to play that many games just to try and make the only top 2 of that group.
Yeah, it's rough. It is a cutthroat event, that is for sure. And, well, which is why, again, seeding is also important when you get further into this. The winner of this matchup, by the way, will be going on to take on the loser of RMIT Red versus Swinburne Black. I have to admit, I'm kind of banking on Swinburne Black to win that one, so I would expect it to be the winner of this against RMIT Red, but you never know what can happen with events like these at the moment. USYD looking quite dominant thus far. I brought up his name before, negative for, in my eyes, kind of the player to watch on this team, although he's the only one without a goal.
He does do really well at also involving his team. He's really good at being that kind of star player, not necessarily on the stats, but just to make sure their team is getting back on defense. Their team is rotation. If two players overcommit, you can usually find negative is going to be the one back to make that clutch on the goal line save. And that being said, yeah, not on the goal line yet. Cecilio and Eki doing a really good job at just playing upfield. As I said, I've watched this team a few times, and they do really good job at all integrating well with each other and also just playing their roles.
Yeah, we've seen a fair bit of that, as we do see another goal, this time coming from that Sydney side, and negative finally is able to get one on the board for themselves. 3-0 lead now for USYD. Game 1 still looking quite dominant.
Yeah, and maybe that's what they were going for, trying to get everyone on the goal line in the first game, get those nerves out of the way. Whether they'll have nerves or not, I think they might be pretty confident in this game and in this series, because They have definitely are one of those top teams to look at. But that being said, just not really seeing anything too flash from the Western Australia side, as maybe they're still warming up, maybe they're still finding some time to get into this one.
There actually is one thing I'm noticing that's a pretty flash from the WA side, and I wish more teams would do this. The color coordination on the 3 cars. The red car, the orange car, and the yellow car. It's really easy to tell who is who. And as a caster, I greatly appreciate that. Especially considering, too, it's kind of matched their aggression almost. You have essentially Mini Fish in that red car, who has been, the most aggressive player thus far. Second has been Stacey in the orange, and then the most tame has been the yellow car. That
is just the most perfect loadout that I can ever imagine. The fact that they match the play styles as well definitely means that they're here to play. And I also love, I believe, Mini Fish Delish. Sorry, the yellow car actually.
Yeah. That is Shima.
Shima. You don't see toppers come out too much, so I always love bringing out a topper in a Rocket League match.
Yeah, it is kind of cool to see. Unfortunately for them, though, they can have all the style points in the world. It doesn't get you any points in the match. And they are going to drop this opening one 3-0 most likely, unless Mini Fish can make something happen here. Oh, no. Give it to them. That's not fair.
Come on, you got to let that. 0 seconds, you're up by 3. Let him get that one. I believe going for the flip reset as well, looking to make something happen, and tries for the crossbar down. Look, when you can't even score in your own net, how are you supposed to score on the other teams now? That's what I'm saying.
That was a little bit of a depressing end, but still, not if you're USYD. You're up 1-0 right now, feeling pretty good about yourself. So it's only the start of the series. It can be a longer one, but it definitely feels that USYD is probably the more veteran team here.
Yeah, with the players coming in and their experience, definitely we both agreed that they would be the team to watch out for here. It is a very tough matchup to have. I believe this isn't a matchup that you thought you would see if you are the Western Australia side. So it is kind of hard to see that in the lower bracket. You're coming up against a team this skillful and this experienced. So it is hard there, but that being said, this is only game 1. Hopefully we can see some warm-ups. Hopefully we can see them start making an appearance. Because one thing I have noticed in these University League games is it's never game 1 or 2. It's always game 3 or 4 that you'll really start to see a team at their full capacity.
Yeah, so keep warming it up, and perhaps before USYD gets fully warmed up, we'll see UOW Red be able to strike back. Ball is on that blue side of the field. Shima trying to find a way to pass it back. They won't find much. So they're going to have to be racing back on defense. Mini Fish Delish underneath the ball. Doesn't have that read as well. 4:20 still to go. Early days. Eki not in position to collect that pass. And another play up the other side.
Yeah, a few double commits and kind of overextensions here from the University of Sydney. Maybe getting it's a little bit too comfortable already. And that's where we can see Esports Red really start to counterattack those. That being said, it's right in front of net. Good save. We'll send that to the corner. They do get away with that one. It will be sent the other way looking for the infield pass. Can't quite find it as it will be met by Sai. Will be in the infield though. Couldn't quite get that. And it just seems like there's no second man there to support first man trying to begin that counterattack and start that pressure for Esports Red.
Yeah, that's a very unfortunate position to be in. And typically it would be a symptom, I would imagine, of just being too cautious on defense. And expecting your opponents to realistically outpace you. It's a similar approach, though, that I'd like to see almost in League of Legends. When you're coming in as the underdog, instead of playing more passive, I believe you should be more aggressive. You should be trying to challenge more. You should be trying to catch your opponents off guards in situations. Not really been the case so far for UOW Esports Red.
Yeah, and will they be able to make those changes? We do see a lot of in-game adjustments, and that is what separates some good teams from some great teams, is being able to, at the end of a game, instead of sitting there and while you're waiting for the next lobby to start up, start talking about what you can do to improve. What are some holes that you can find in the other team's defense or offense? So we can see if those adjustments start to show out. Good speed there, though. Might put a shot on target. Will be an easily brushed aside save there by University of Sydney.
So at this stage, I have to ask, because you've played, on some high-level teams in the past, you've even coached some. What has been the best example of like some in-between game advice or like strategy changes that like you saw have an immediate effect?
It's definitely kind of noticing the gaps. So you can really see if a team is starting to push up and really overextend, because there are some teams that usually play like a 2 up, 1 back, or 1 up, 2 back. It's kind of noticing that, okay, there's some holes on the quick counterattacks. If they're on defense, for 30 to a minute, they can really start to overextend. I've seen teams make mid-game adjustments where they're like, all right, well, let's just stay on defense. Let's just rotate very safely. And then as soon as we see that third man overcommit for a shot, really start to push out. So there's a few gaps that you can see noticing. Sometimes it isn't even about noticing something specific. It's also just about resetting your own mentality and just kind of being like, hey, let's take this 60 seconds. Let's just have some fun, make some jokes, kind of reset our mentality and go into the next game.
That sort of reminds me of a, I believe it was a Sunless Con video from ages ago. Finally, the gridlock is broken, and UOW gets one on the board. But back to that previous point, it reminds me of Sunless Con video I saw ages ago where they spent the first 3 minutes playing defense only, and then the last 2 minutes just hunting for demos and being super aggressive, and it was super effective, right? I'm actually surprised more teams don't have sort of like, all right, at 1 minute and 33 seconds, we're going to go in, we're going to attack hard, and we're going to get our goal after playing defensively the entire time. I mean, maybe we saw it just there, arguably. Tie ball game right now, still 1:30 to go. But yeah, I would always love to see teams, have more sort of set strategies where they change their look mid-game or mid-series.
Yeah, I definitely think it's something to look out for. Maybe not a specific time. I think Rocket League's a game where it's so fast-paced, you can't choose a specific time. You gotta say as it goes. But it will be very interesting. I know if you guys do follow Rocket League outside of AEL, but Hazard Esports used to be a roster that would play very defensive, and that roster is actually negative Ensai Rexel. They used to play very defensive the entire game. They would really just focus on solid rotations. As a member has gone for a save on their way back, get a demo on third man, and that's the moment that they'll decide, okay, we're breaking out, and they'll use those quick counterattacks. So we have seen a few playstyles that are purely defensive come out, and they kind of have a whole way around the way that they play. So that is very interesting to see, and it would be great to see, okay, like, 2 minutes, we're gonna break out here, though otherwise we're just playing defense.
So wait, negative Sorexel you're saying was Hazard. When I think Hazard, I still think Hazard as a homie. For me, that's always going to be
the previous.
I know, but I can't get over that. I loved that lineup. I like probably was their biggest fan of that lineup, but that was the case. 1-1 scoreline, 15 seconds remaining. We are going to see a shot. I think it's going to be high, though. It's not going to be in, and keeping the ball in a dangerous spot right now somehow. Staying alive in this one. 3 seconds. Do we see that last goal go in for USYD? Eki has a look, throws it down to negative. We're going backwards now. Sai decides to down it and take us to overtime.
Yeah, when the ball's going into your own side of the field, it's smart definitely to drop that one. And a kickoff goal might happen. Eki couldn't quite find that one, and it will be sent the other way.
Yeah, very passive play coming out from the UOW side. Took their time getting to that ball, and when they do commit, perhaps they overcommit. Sai will have to be looking for a bump. Doesn't find anyone. Ball stays in the corner. Now back to the middle of the field. Eki there, but isn't able to find the goal. Negative, though, was waiting forward. Slows the pace down. Pinch back over to Sai. It really looks like you said they're keeping that aggression on there, keeping that ball on that orange side of the field, even when they make mistakes.
Yeah, and it's those quick turns that you don't need 100 boosts to challenge the ball, and that's what they're doing really good as. They will cut into midfield with 20 boosts, just enough to get that 50 and to force them to really start to make a play. A good side play there, gets around one, though. Negative will send it downfield. Eki will be there, hopefully, for the redirect infield to Sai. Finds it, good infield pass, shot on target. Great counter-attack play there for University of Sydney.
And that's going to give them a Game 2 victory as well. 2-0 up, our favorites, continuing to control this game. Granted, Game 2, a lot closer than Game number 1.
Yeah, and definitely need some things to work on there from the Western Australia side of Esports Red. Definitely need to start making some adjustments there, realizing I don't even know what you can do too much at this point. They're doing such a good job at keeping that offensive pressure that right now, the UOW side just seem lost on defense and just stuck in their own half, not really being able to break out.
Well, one thing that could be going UOW's way is a bit of a sub happening between these games. Ben the Nut now stepping in for, I believe it was...
Cilio?
Yeah, but for Cilio, that is correct. So
yeah.
That's interesting. That's an interesting sub. We'll see how it pays out as we go back on to the pitch for game number 3. 1-0 lead for UOW.
Hey, when you sub in and they get a kickoff goal, might not be the best look there, but it is interesting. You've got the 2-game lead, so you're coming as a sub. I feel like there's a lot of nerves on you. You've played very dominating in the first 2 games. And now if you start losing some games, it might come back onto you, but we'll see how Ben the Nut can handle that pressure.
Yeah, we'll see how nutty he might get, but that's a second goal going through UOW. I think they're very happy with this change of fortune. 2 goals, both of them over the top of Ben.
Yeah, the sub not looking too good. He able to get 2 goals on the board, only 20 seconds in as well. Will they quickly be able to rocket the Lamborghini as well? I do love the car choice. I haven't actually seen that one in competitive play as of yet.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what it is. This is my first time seeing it just in general, not just in competitive play. I'm glad you like it, because after, man, I'm a little weirded out by this one.
Yeah, I believe it yet again got the Dominus hitbox as well. So
okay, it's great then. You know, it's pretty good.
Great.
I think it's the best car actually. It should be mandatory for everyone to drive it.
If you want to play at this top 8 level, a quote from Formal is just playing the Dominus. Just playing the Dominus, it will get you here. The Lamborghini definitely has that hitbox. It is a really good car. I've played it a little bit myself as well, so very interesting to see. I don't think it's the first time it has actually made an appearance here, though, because I did see Backtrack Jack from the Beating Lethal side, Rocket, when he was playing in the playoffs.
Yeah, true. So it is making that return. So what was the, because you were playing with it earlier. I saw your YouTube video, the NASCAR hitbox. That's a Dominus one as well, is it not?
They're all Dominus. It's weird that they brought out 3 car packs. The last 4 cars they've brought out have all been Dominus. So maybe Psyonix is trying to tell us something. Yeah. Maybe Psyonix Epic Games are starting to be like, trying to nudge us towards, hey guys, you know, we're giving you more and more cars to use the Dominus hitbox. Why aren't you guys still using it?
Well, what's the Formula 1 going to be? That's the important one, because if they throw it to the hybrid thing that no one uses, I'm going to be so disappointed, because I am so hyped for that Formula 1 car.
Okay, look, let's not talk about the hybrid hitbox, because that is the Skyline, and I don't have the Skyline. It's one of the most things I'm still salty about in this game is I don't have the Skyline. It's Eki getting it past all 3 defenders. Really nice ground drill play there, able to put that one away. And I really like the hybrid hitbox. I'm waiting for them to release another car or the Skyline again so we can use it.
Well, it could be that Formula 1. And you know what? I might be joining you on the hybrid hitbox when the Formula 1 skin line comes out, because, I have to do it. You know, it's why I had to change to an Octane player before, because of the Green Bay Packers. And now there's going to be Formula 1. And so, yeah, Dominus might get all this love, Tins, but it's not the love that I love. Where's it catered towards me?
Where's the Formal specific car that we can see? Why are we going to see some logo cars on the Dominus? You branch out a little bit, you know?
When is it going to be, you know, the OCE RLCS teams? Dominus only.
You only released it in the Dominus and no other cars.
Yeah, exactly. You can get your
Psyonix is just pushing us.
You can get your Ground Zero skin or your Renegade skin, but it has to be on the Dominus. That's what I want.
Well, I'm going to give you a spoiler alert here from my really in-depth Psyonix analytics and performance that I've got. I believe that the Animus is like a Formula 1 car, and that is got the breakout hitbox. So you might be playing in the breakout if you choose to be in that car.
Okay. You know, I've fiddled with the breakout before. I can handle that. That's all right. 2-1 game, and it's about to potentially be 3-1. Shot going to be saved. 100 seconds remaining. That's right. There's still a game on the pitch. Do not forget. It's been a bit back and forth. There's been a couple missed opportunities, actually, for UOW to extend that lead. Some very, very key saves came through. And as we approach this final minute and 20 seconds, this could be UOW fighting their way back in our series.
Yeah, and you're doing it when a sub makes an imprint into the game. That's maybe not the best wise for University of Sydney, thinking that you brought in a sub and now you're about to lose your first game of the series, but still plenty of time, and I believe with the help of Eki. And you have got negative on your team still, so they're definitely not to be forgotten about here as the UOW team looking to take this one. 50 seconds to go on the clock, still on offense here. And right now, University of Sydney just not being able to put a shot on net. Early challenges here from UOW.
Yeah, a lot of early challenges, and, well, more challenges coming from UOW as well. They get it close. Negative will be able to play that backboard. The question is, though, when it will, well, not now, as Ben the Nut misses. I'm going to say, when it does, USYD get it past that midfield line, I don't think it's this game. That's going to be a third goal for UOW, and with that, it's looking like they're taking game 3.
Yeah, that new level of confidence just coming out is quick midfield turns, really controlling, making sure you're not giving the time and space for this University of Sydney side. And I think that's what they're doing so well, and they need to keep that up if they do want to take this series and try and tie it back up again. They have got this one in the bag, I'm 90% sure, but I say you can never be too sure in a game of Rocket League until that clock strikes 0.
Yes, that's going to be the case. 7 seconds remaining. Well, now you can be sure, Tins. We're not seeing.
Yeah, look now. Maybe not 0. Maybe like 5 to 10.
Yeah,
we can count that.
Well, unless Realize is playing, then things get kind of put through a loop.
then anything is possible. When you got that level of play,
yeah,
anything is definitely possible.
Well, just Realize in particular. It's something that's a different region. That's a talk for another day. This series, or this game, I should say, has come to an end. It is a proper series now, as UOW is able to take one back. They're going to be feeling good with that one. Moving along, we're going to get Game 4 set up for you. Do you think UOW can keep this momentum going without looking at the spoilers that we are privy to? Because right now I'm thinking, hey, this is a pretty good look from that UOW side.
It definitely is, and I think it's all going to be on them now. Will they maintain this pressure? Will they go back to their defensive box and not be able to break out of it? It's going to all be on them if they do want to take this series and tie it up or even go further than that. They need to make sure they're forcing these midfield turns. They're not giving space, which is what they did really well. And it's just the level of confidence that they came out with. I do want to say, though, I want to know when Ben the Nut is getting on the scoreboard because they made sure that all 3 players got that goal in the first game. So when's Ben the Nut getting on? When are they going to share the love and get him a goal?
So I'm going to admit I made a little boo-boo. That was actually Game 4. We're a little out of order. That's okay. Game 3, here we go. But now it's our new Game 4. Let's kick this one off. I could have gone away with it.
Fun.
I could have gone away with it. No one would have ever known.
No one would have known. No one would have known. The players would have been watching and been like, wait a minute. I remember that. No. But no, we're fine. Just no one heard that. No one heard that. This is game number 4 here.
Yeah, no, we are in Game 4 now. I hope I just played the right replay. I hope I haven't just completely thrown everything off. I could be confusing myself. We'll see, because that was another kickoff goal for UOW, which is how Game 3 started, right? So a little similar right there. We'll see where we go from this point. Either way, look, the results are the same. The order doesn't matter as much. As long as we're not showing the last game early, then we're all good.
Then we're all good. Cecilia just made a quick return. He just had to go to the toilet last game. He's made it back, and he's ready to go back for his team.
Yeah, there he is. He's back. Yeah, so yeah, you know what? That tells me that we are doing the right game now. Like that we did go back in time.
Yeah, I do believe, if I can quickly find it, Cecilia subbed out after Game 3. Yeah. So Cecilia went to the toilet during Game 3. Back for Game 4, and then we'll be subbing out again for game number 5. That's how the story went. That's
exactly verbatim how it went down.
We would never be wrong. We would never do that.
Never be wrong, as we actually are looking at a bit of a good attack right now out of USYD. Negative with a chance shot, target post, and Hecky was there, unable to wrap it around and in. Still a 1-0 lead for UOW. Feeling pretty good about this matchup thus far, knowing that they're going to be winning their next game. I think that's got to give you confidence when you can see into the future and you know you're going to win the next one.
Exactly right. So if they can win this one, they're obviously going to put themselves into that 2-goal lead. And, 2 series tied up if they can win this one, knowing that next one is on the line for them. So we'll be interested to see how they play knowing that.
Well, do you think it adds pressure, too, on the USYD side, knowing that you're going to lose the next game no matter what you do, right? The future has been foretold. You're losing with a sub in that next game. Does that add extra pressure to win this one?
Yeah, you definitely have to win this one, that being said. For University of Sydney, you're losing the next one. You do not want to tie this back up. You need that 3-game lead. So I think all the pressure's on them. They're going to really be trying to take the victory here because they can't lose 2 in a row knowing that's happening.
Yeah, absolutely. You'd rather force a match point situation as opposed to a tied series situation going into Game 5. Ball across the middle. Eki has a read. Eki has a shot. Backward follow through. It is there from Sai, but not quite going to be in its mark just yet. Negative now. We'll play that backward. Eki in position. Can't quite hit it straight. Still 2:15 on the clock, and it is looking like you said they're putting a lot of pressure on, but none of it is real threatening.
Yeah, just a little bit of missed touches instead of going directly over the backboard. They're playing a bit to the side, and that's just not what's going to be working for them. They are forcing a few double commits here, so I need to see UOW to start to counteract those, but it's not going to happen there as I believe Sai gets that one on the board. And they've really got to start. I've seen a fair few double commits, but, University UAW just not in the position. They're rotating too far away. They're too far away from the ball, and they're not able to make the counterattack happen quick enough to punish. And they're giving University of Sydney just free range in the midfield to just rotate and get back on offense.
And it's interesting to me because, well, like having the midfield, I would think would be like the most important aspect of the game. Like midfield control is just so critical, I feel, in Rocket League, particularly in this level as well. Because when you're going to look for that quick counterattack, it's going to be passes straight up the middle. That is the most direct avenue. And we have seen teams pull it off in this event already. So I think getting control of that midfield once again will be important. Just another quick thing that I have noticed, and this could be superstition, this could be hold this thought. Eki back to Sai. That's going to go in. 2-1 lead in favor of USYD.
Yeah, and it is interesting to see that factors. I feel like that also starts with midfield boost, because if you give the boost to the people on offense all the time, they're just going to be able to keep going. They're going to have 100 boosts. They're never going to have a boost shortage. So you need to start making the attack, making the save, and on your rotation back, start causing some disruption. Start getting that midfield boost, start rotating back and try and relieve some pressure and start to make the offensive team of University of Sydney start to have to rotate back to their own net if they want boost.
How different do you think Rocket League would be if you put another full boost charge smack dab in the middle of the field?
I believe, and I might have to go in depth in this one, but I believe it would mess it up a lot more, because if you're directly into the midfield when you're rotating, it's actually one of the worst places to be in, as your car is in such an awkward position to make defensive saves and all that kind of stuff. So it's definitely interesting. I believe that if you put one in the smack bang in the middle, kickoff would be very weird, is my first one. I don't know how that would work on kickoff. But on top of that, I believe that it would actually force more awkward rotations.
Yeah, but is that a good thing for like the game or a bad thing? 1 second goal. UOW back in this one, as once again it's across that middle of the pitch, or at least that's where the pass was caught. Realistically, it was a corner setup. Either way, we're going to an overtime.
Well, they were playing very good in the midfield in terms of stopping that defensive run by quick early challenge, but it's not going to be enough as Negative puts that one away, gets them the win. And looks like they're going to go up 3-1. The UAW did start playing more aggressive in the midfield, so maybe that was what led them to do it in the next game that we are watching.
Okay, so here's the thing. We get little spoilers in how these games kind of go down, because, or at least I do, because I'm setting up the replays and Tins kind of overlooks. I see the game length. I thought that one wasn't going to an overtime. I'm seeing a 1-game differential. I know the length of things. That's clearly not an overtime, right? That goal genuinely caught me off guard at the end. Knowing the results, I got surprised.
Yeah, it was a quick one. Like, I feel like overtimes either go one way. It's always a really long one in terms of, like, I think a really long one is like 2 minutes plus, because technically it's more than half, less than half of a game just. Either that or it's in the first 10 seconds, 15 seconds. It's always crazy to me how quick some kickoffs can go, as we see right there.
That's 3.
UOW getting that one on the board.
Yeah, that's 3 games in a row UOW has gotten an opening kickoff in.
Have they been watching GZ or something? Have they been seeing some of these kickoff strategies that they're implementing to their own?
Good team to watch. Good team to learn from. That could be the case. Either way, it's good to see UOW has a strength in some regard, and they're going to need to rely on that because, well, this attack. Oh. That was unfortunate. This attack was looking good. Still actually does look good, and now they get it. Second time's the charm, Tin. Second time's the charm.
You can't let a team make errors and missed shots like that and then let them go straight back onto offensive. You need to punish. You need to at least send them back to their own corner. And that's what UOW just is not doing at the moment.
Now they are struggling, and again they're struggling. Another quick goal for our blue side. That is Sydney now up 2-1 in what could be our final game of the evening, actually, if they're able to get a win here. So we see a shot, another one go in, 3-1 now. Tins, what is going on? I asked because you are muted, I believe. Not actually.
I am definitely muted at the moment. I was just saying, 4 goals in 40 seconds, as that one comes through It's at the 4-minute, 22-minute mark, and what's going on with the defense here? It's just completely lacking in this game.
Yeah, well, I feel the opening kickoff was, again, UOW. They just strung off the kickoffs. But after that, like, their positioning has just been really awkward. It's been too far forward. And it felt like 2 of those 3 goals was just a case of USYD playing around that corner, getting behind them, and then finding that shot. Now they're, again, sort of peppering that backboard. The velocity that they're shooting these rockets at is just absolutely insane. And UOW back against the wall. It's almost as if USYD now realize, hold on, let's look to end this series right here, right now, because you have to remember, this is after they dropped the game, right? We're sort of out of order. Before, they were up 3-0, they fell to 3-1, and now they are motivated, I think, to just put this one away.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like it does get to that point where you look at a roster and you think, I think the University of Sydney are the favorites going into this match. And it isn't until they lose a game where you really start to see the real University of Sydney. They're like, all right, hold up here. Wait a minute. We need to go back here. Either that, or it could be Ben the Nut is back in the game. Maybe he's completely warmed up and he's just showing up here for this University of Sydney.
Yeah, that could be the case as well. Ben the Nut. See what they're going to be able to do. Continue to apply that pressure, or just leave it all for one negative right there. Oh, nearly got that solo play. Now it's going to go the other way. Shima with the chance. Doesn't need the second touch. It's off the post and in.
Crossbar down, really awkward there. No one able to rotate back, and that is the punishment that we're talking about. That's what UOW need to start doing. Just going long. When you see that overcommit, pushing too far upfield, just send it downfield, put it on target, apply that pressure straight back, and that is a really good counter-attack. And we might find another one here, but couldn't quite get the power needed and will be played into the corner.
That's still spooky to see defenders bump into each other like that in front of the net. That's never what you want to see.
Calculated pinch. Calculated pinch is what we'll go with.
Yeah, well, it could lead to a calculated own goal. We've already seen a couple of those, I feel, as Ben the Nut will take it to the corner. See how that offense will play. It's still only a 1-goal game. So UOW is still very competitive in this, as they're going to go for another play. Shima already has one, but no boost to find a second right now. UOW, when they are on that offensive side, they play such deep rotations, I feel. They're so reliant almost on these solo plays.
Yeah, having a member rotate all the way back there for boost, but doesn't matter. Shot on target, finds the angle. Beautiful shot there from UOW.
Oh, that is one that they were looking for a little while, and they're going to feel good to get that. After so many solo plays being set up midfield, I don't believe USYD was expecting that upfield pass.
Yeah, as soon as I saw the member rotate all the way back and express for that boost, I was kind of worried, 'cause as soon as they did that, you were talking about the deep rotations. Works out perfect for an upfield pass. And that's when a player expresses and goes all the way back to their own boost. It's really good to see that being actively thinking in the first and second member to stay upfield, because a boom's coming down your way.
Yeah, and when those plays work out, you feel big brain. You feel like the faster than that smarter team, and that can give you the confidence, especially when your back is against the wall, like UOW is in this moment. Eki going to try and create something, though, gets kind of bumped out of the play by Stacey, and now with the ball in front of the net, that's going to go in. A 4-3 lead for USYD.
We talk about actively thinking, and there's no better way to do it than go for bumps after you've gone off playing first man. I love seeing that, and we've seen it so much in AEL when first man goes for the ball, you hit it midfield, you do what you need to, and then instead of just directly rotating out, disrupt the defense. Look for those demos. Look to be a nuisance on that offensive end, and I believe that one all goes to the bumps.
And, I mean, bumps are always going to be important. I don't even think that's just an AEL exclusive. Going for those bumps at any given moment can create so many future opportunities. Now, 42 seconds to go. A 1-goal lead. You said Rokt Lorg. They could be heading themselves through this series if they can hold on for these 35 seconds. However, everyone's just getting in each other's way, and that could lead to another opening for UOW. The ball bouncing towards the backboard. Negative has an awkward read. It's in front of the net, and it is going in. Tie ball game with 27 seconds remaining.
They are keeping that pressure alive, having faith in each other to really center that one, and cheating out of field there from Negative. That's not what I thought we would see from a player of his skill level. Cheating out of field, getting punished for it, and we're in a tie game, possible overtime. 20 seconds to go, played out in the midfield. The pressure is all back on them. 3 players on the backboard might give them time, and it will be a one-on-one play here in the corner. Ben the Nut will play it downfield, beats out 1, beats out 2, an open net, goes for the demo. Negative couldn't quite get it and couldn't quite find that one. 4 seconds to go. It's awkward in midfield. They decide to keep it up, playing it down. Won't be able to get there. Will touch the ground, and we have a Game 5 OT.
Game 5 OT. If USYD finds this goal, they end it off these kickoffs, though. It has been UOW in the past. This one is going to be saved, or is it a second attempt? Shot target native. Able to find behind it and come through. Now we finally look to go that other way. USYD, that net looks so open, but with no boost, they cannot find the angle for the strike.
That was well to keep the ball close. Fake out. Eki was shot on target. That one will find a good pass from Ben the Nut. And University of Sydney do take the best of 7 in game number 5.
Yeah, that's going to be our final goal. USYD will advance, and I'm just going to make sure there's no... yeah, no, we're going to take a look at these standings. Everything has been covered. All these games have been streamed. Results are known, so we can safely look at this tournament bracket right now and where we stand. UniSA still our only team in the winners final. USYD with that win are going to be waiting for the losers of RMIT Red versus Swinburne Black. UN New Burmers, they're going to be playing against UTS, and yeah, we've seen 2 teams eliminated now. Only 6 remain, Tins.
We have. Let's just play this out. I don't know we don't know the results just yet, but we have the possibility for the Swinburne Black versus UniSA beating Lethal side in that winners final, and I think that is the one that we are all waiting for. That is the one that we want to see.
And I actually think that's what we're going to get as well. I am kind of leaning towards Swinburne Black over RMIT Red if I were to make a prediction right there. And you know what the rough thing is? Like between UniSA beating Lethal and Swinburne Black, I would kind of pick Swinburne Black to win that match. I don't think beating Lethal is going to beat Lethal, although, actually, since Delusions joined the lineup, I might have to reconsider.
They are looking scary. I did get the pleasure of casting them. They do look like they have some holes that do need to be cleaned up. I believe that it's all on how the players play together. Backtrack Jack, especially when he's on and he's playing confident, being that kind of third member, playing with 2 RLCS players. It is on him to kind of pick up that standard, and if he's playing well, they definitely have the ability. But I think just the sheer skill and the sheer how long they've been playing together of the Swinburne Black is definitely the force to be reckoned with, and probably favorites going into that match.
So here's a question for you: who wins if we force this to turn into a 1v1 J-Brad versus Blacktrack Jack?
You know what? I think Backtrack will be the better ones player, but can we just make that happen? I don't know if there's in a rule book or something. Can we just have both players sub out, or like two of the players sub out from each team, we just get that going?
That 1v1, I reckon. Yeah. I reckon that 1v1 would be hilarious to watch. Look,
I know they're mates as well, which is why it'll make it that much juicier. I think there'll be some toxicity in there. I think both players will go at it really hard. That'd be great.
Oops, sorry, jumped on my Twitter randomly. I forgot that was what was being streamed. Look, that's going to wrap us up for today. I hope you all had fun. I think the both of us, I can safely say, had fun. I'm speaking for you, Tins, by the way. You had fun, all right? You had fun. So it was a blast. Obviously, from where we go from here, this tournament can go any which way. 6 teams remain. Only one will be champion. Be sure to tune in probably tomorrow night. I think 9 p.m. is what we're thinking about for more Rocket League. Also, you've got your Rainbow Six Siege, you've got your Dotas, you've got your Counter-Strike, and you've even got Smash. So if you're interested in any of those games, make sure to follow AEL. One last time, a big thank you to the sponsors as well, RIG, AOC, Indomie, and of course, Chatime, without which we wouldn't be able to hold events like this. So thank you to all of them. Thank you for Tins joining me today. And until next time, have a great night, everybody.